Welcome to Spoiler Alert. This is our inaugural show of our weekly discussion about all things fandom and pop culture. This is going to be a Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows special show. I am Christian. This is Anika.
Hi.
And, well, here we go. Of course, last weekend we had the big release of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. We were in Cambridge and celebrated with thousands of Harry Potter fans. Saw Harry and the Potters, Draco and the
Malfoys, and the Hungarian Horntails.
That's right.
Voldemort can't stop. Alright, let the music scream!
So, let's get right to it. What'd you think? What are your initial thoughts? Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Hit me.
I think it was a good ending to the series. That it got all of the questions answered and done, and has a distinct ending, and that I was happy with it because I was right.
What were you right about?
About Lily and Snape.
Yep, that's true. Lily and Snape, the much debated, but there were a lot of hints there. There were a lot of hints.
If you were looking.
If you were looking, you saw them.
Or
you
you
could
mean.
saw them there. You could see them. I also thought it was a really good ending. I think she did a really good job of having a whole new story. She brought in all the Deathly Hallows stuff, all the lore. We'll learn all these things about Dumbledore's youth. We have a new quest, but then we're also wrapping up everything else at the same time, and that's not easy to do.
There are lots of layers.
Yeah, I would have cut out the camping too. It was like, Harry goes, "Let's go to Godric's Hollow," and they say no. And Harry says, "Let's go to Godric's Hollow," and they say no. All right, let's go camping for a month. Ron goes, "This is stupid. I'm leaving." And then after Ron leaves, then Hermione goes, "All right,
we'll go to Godric's Hollow."
Exactly.
And they still don't actually learn anything there.
No, but they
don't learn anything until like Dobby dies, and then Harry's like, "Whoa! Everything makes sense." It just takes Dobby dying, I guess.
Were you happy with the Snape and Lily backstory chapter there?
Yes, that was my favorite chapter. Because, see, I mean, again, this is what I really wanted. It's like, all I really wanted was, like, Harry to not die and for Snape and Lily to be real. And even it was like, if Harry died but had a good death, then that was okay. I just didn't, like, I felt like if he died it would be sort of, like, cheap. I liked that Snape was in love with Lily. That was important to me. But I also liked that she was his friend. That it wasn't just this infatuation that he had with, the pretty girl. It was, she was his one friend. Like, his, real person who really, wanted to be his friend. Not because he was a Slytherin, and not because he was going to be a Death Eater, and not because of what he could do or what he was willing to go along with, but because of who he actually was.
I just wish we saw more of it. I mean, when the next chapter is all about Harry's actions speaking louder than her telling us what he's thinking, Snape didn't offer us any memories of the two of them studying potions together or being friendly. Really, just a couple of scenes of Lily choosing Snape over James. Which, if I was Harry, that would be more disturbing than finding out that Snape and Lily were friends. I just wish we saw more of it from his memories. Harry is a Horcrux. Harry has to die, but he's not really dead. He's just in the King's Cross Station. What do you think of that?
I loved King's Cross Station being where he was, because that's where platform 9 3/4 is. That's where he goes to get on the Hogwarts Express and go to the magical world, basically. So it's a transition. It's a transition.
It's train station.
It's
the afterlife. Yeah.
It's in between the two worlds, and so I really liked that as a metaphor, I guess, of the afterlife. So, and I didn't mind that chapter. I thought that it was well done with Harry sort of. Like, it was, back to the old formula of Dumbledore explaining everything, but Harry sort of already knew things. And he was, he was having a real conversation with Dumbledore instead of just sort of sitting there being told everything.
And as for Harry being a Horcrux, as the Leaky Cauldron people said on Pottercast, I think we all knew. that Harry had to be, in some shape or form or way, a Horcrux.
And, you know, it was so visual in the 5th movie that it was sort of like, you know...
What part was in the 5th movie that was visual?
The way that
when
he would
he was
like
being
crack his neck and then he would do
tortured.
it, and it was just everything was very it was like, you know, just the way that it was presented in the movie, it seemed very clear to me that they were saying these two are connected.
Alright, so one of the interesting things that I felt was that in that epilogue we sort of see that everything goes back to normal. That Albus Potter, or whatever his name is worried about... Albus Severus Potter is worried about which house he's going to get sorted into. Even though McGonagall sets out the tables earlier and everyone sits wherever they want. And even though Dumbledore says at some point that maybe we sort
too soon.
We
sort too soon. And in the Sorting Hat had that song in the 6th book too that was like, you know, sorting is not really that great an idea, guys. You know, I sort because I have to. I was created to sort, but you know, don't let that keep you from interacting. But they are, you know, they're still sorting 19 years later, and while that scene...
You mean the 5th book, but continue. In the 6th book, we don't see the sorting, but we hear about it. It's still about uniting the houses.
Oh, right, you're right.
In the 5th book, he gets to hear the sorting song, and it is about uniting the houses. Yeah, so it's like, the Sorting Hat continues to sing the same kind of song.
Hey, everybody, let's unite. But my issue is that, you know, why it's sort of like, they learned nothing, you know? And I guess, I mean, you're supposed to assume that because they were polite, like, to Malfoy, that Harry, Ron, and Draco were polite to each other. They didn't speak or anything, but they, you know, acknowledged each other without drawing their wands and fighting. That they have, you know, come to an impasse or something. And the only other thing I really want to say is that there's not a single person in this book who has a good death.
No.
It's like, I think Dobby comes closest. And that's sad. I mean, no offense to Dobby, but...
I think that also... that part of what J.K. Rowling was trying to say was that there is no design to death. Because the books really are about coping with death and what we do, how we respond to death. And probably her own experiences with death have been, these things just sort of happen. There's no heroic deaths, you know. And my grandfather died in an old folks' home. There's nothing heroic about that. It's sort of the same idea that we can't, as much as we might think that our heroes, even our villains, might rise to the occasion in their final moment, that really death is like a random thing that just happens. Anyway, next week we're going to be talking about comic books. We're going to be talking about Marvel comic books, specifically about the Skrull invasion that we all think is coming.
Already happened.
Well, do we know for sure that it's happened?
No, I'm saying that, oh, yes, I am saying that if their Skrull invasion happens, then it's already happened.
Okay, I understand that. So next week we're going to be talking Skrulls. Maybe we'll touch on a little bit what's going on in Countdown on the DC side of things. Quick though, name a Harry Potter character that could be a Skrull.
Remus Lupin.
Remus Lupin.
And Tonks.
And both.
Because both, they're like, what happened to the characters?
Yeah.
They turned into completely different people.
Lupin shows
they are
up.
Clearly Skrulls.
Lupin shows up at the at number 12 Grimmauld Place and is like, hey, I'm a completely different dude. Can I join your quest? Because I certainly don't have a rest of my life to worry about.
Harry's like, no, you suck. Go home.
Yeah.
Like, what? I do not understand what happened to Lupin.
So he might be a Skrull, and...
definitely a Skrull.
Anyway, so that's it for Spoiler Alert. Hope you join us next week, where we'll be continuing our ongoing discussion and babbling about all things fandom, and see you next time.
Bye!
Bernie Parker et Clyde Barrow, Bernie and Clyde, Bernie and Clyde. Moi, lorsque j'ai connu Clyde autrefois,